Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday morning trading session. We just saw the markets open with a rather substantial opening gap here on the NASDAQ. Let me highlight that for you. Yesterday's trading had a lot more momentum to it than it first led on. This is the overnight. Yesterday, of course, we had a big rally up and then a big rally down. Pretty much recovered all the gains and then some. The market goes into the close and closed down here somewhere around the 43.97 mark. And then look at that in the overnight, just a huge rally. And that means we're opening with an enormous gap below the market. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So I think we'll just give them a few minutes here. Crude oil also opened with a big gap up. If we take a look here at the crude oil market on the Eagle, so yesterday crude slipping considerably and then going into the close, they closed down here around 48.90, give or take, and also opening, crude oil opens a little bit earlier. Where did they open? Right about here, around 49.70, so almost a full dollar higher. And as you might expect, if the NASDAQ rallied, that means that gold slipped lower, and it has done that. So we've got a couple markets here. Oh gosh, I guess I should have just, with that huge gap down there. Oh, here we had a cloud crossover in the Raptor just before the open. It's looking like the bears are going to try to get in there. And we had a first micro-macro cross here on the hawk. Let's see if we get any kind of second chance to get in here. Otherwise, it's the type of trade where you're just going to hop on board and hope that you can get some of this move. The problem is you got to risk way up here. Because there's so little structure to the market right now. Oh, come on. Just give us a little bit of a hiccup here. Give us a chance. Look at where the resistance is at, where they're suffering. Where are we here? 44.20. Is that a familiar number? You bet it is. We've been watching that 44.20 level for the last 2 or 3 days. Now I'm going to hold out for a signal here, but honestly, it's certainly not a bad strategy just to pop in there with a trade, because I think we got a runaway market here. I'm going to short one, and we're going to eliminate the break even, and we need to put a stop way back, certainly back here around the 44.40 area. All right, let's cancel that. Let's drag this bad boy all the way up here. Oh, well, we're getting a signal, but it's not one of our high probability signals. We'll see whether that turns into a macro pullback or not. Good morning, Jim. Wow, the advanced decline numbers really skewed this morning. Jim says 2350 on the buy and about 340 on the sell, but that again is because that huge opening gap. So we're seeing a little rejection now off the 44.20 area. And actually we are getting a signal now here on the Falcon that just triggered. Let's see if we can't get a second push on that one. Oh, you scoundrels. So there too, you just got to hop on board. We'll place a rather big stop. And actually, I'm going to do this. There we go. Pulls the stop down anyways. I think the first one was up here again, around 44.40. So we had a little trendline touch signal here, and the market was just moving too quick for me to try to get that order in, so I just popped in with a sell order. Here we have the Raptor showing us the same kind of thing, but we got a little bit more time on the Raptor. And again, the big problem with this trade is that we've got to cover way back. Sellers are pressing. Let's see here on the Geiger counter. Oops. Buyers are coming back. Sellers are really trying to push this market into that big opening gap. Yeah. They're trying. They're really trying. Okay, here on the Hawk, even though we just kind of hopped on board, we are getting a macro pullback signal now. Again, covering this trade, big problem, right? Very little structure here, real quick move lower. We could see a serious retracement here, which is why we need to cover way up here. I know it's uncomfortable, but sometimes, you know, those are the parameters that you have to use. Jim says the bank index, the transports, and the Russell all pushing higher. So we'll see whether or not they try to influence the NQ here. We are getting a first micro-macro cross in crude oil, if you haven't spotted that one yet. This one's interesting. I would probably take it below the low. I don't think I would take it right on the hash mark. Can I cover up there? Yes, I can. So we've got a market that's kind of moving sideways, kind of pressing the lows here. It's hard to say whether this is going to be lead into a full reversal or not, but at the moment, there is a first micro-macro cross on the floor. I'm going to delete my break even. I will leave my profit target here in the Raptor because I do happen to have 2 trades going on the Raptor 2 contracts. Yeah, Jim's saying the news on the that whole British referendum, the polls are going to be an issue. It's really hard to say. It's really hard to say. It's kind of like that whole Y2K thing, right? Remember way back when? Everybody was all hesitant about it, all up in arms. Nobody knew what it was going to do to the markets, and really at the end it didn't do anything to the markets. The markets did what the markets would do. Oh yes, I know. Jim says the Ninja brokerage raised margins 3 times now. Yeah, I know. They're unsure to be. They don't know how much volatility is going to come into the market today. It is looking like early on here, however, it is a seller's market. Had I gone on to some of those early signals, that would have been nice. It doesn't happen often, Jim. Jim says that's my first experience with the brokerage raising margins. Usually it's a lot more gradual. A lot of times you'll see them raise margins in the grain markets or I guess about a year ago now, when crude oil prices were going through the roof, the exchange kept raising the margins, not the brokerage itself, but the exchange. But yeah, it is odd to see them keep raising the margins. But hey, they're in business to protect themselves, right? They don't want to get caught short-funded, and honestly, they don't want you to get caught short-funded either. So here on the Hawk, we had a macro pullback signal as well as a 4-arrow consolidation, all kind of building the same area where we just kind of hopped on the bear train here. We have hit our profit objective and our break even. It does look like we may get a little bit of a pullback here. So unless you're prepared to ride out the swing, you should probably take profit, or at the very least go to break even. I'm going to press my luck here this morning and see whether or not we can ride out this swing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold all my stops here at 44.40. And yes, that's an enormous stop. But I'm hoping as the morning progresses, we'll have a chance to remedy that a little bit, tighten those stops somewhat. Yes, I think you're right, Jim. Jim says we're back to yesterday's opening range high at around the 44.15 area. The market actually opened this morning very close to yesterday's high of the day, which was around this 44.35 mark. You can see they went higher through the overnight. But the seller's obviously strong, so we can assume, I don't like using that word, but we can assume that buying attempts are likely to fail. Here our crude oil trade has now moved into a green bar sell, which is a little bit more inviting because we can cover the trade right above there. Oops, that's into yellow bars. We did have a green bar sell, but that evaporated. Oh, sorry, that was Ryman who pointed out yesterday's highs around the 44.15. And you can see here on the Falcon why we're conflicted. We're sitting right here on the median line. Could be a little rally due to profit taking. Could be a rally because the buyer's trying to force the market higher, but at the moment, like I said, it looks like the sellers are probably going to try to short any buying attempt. Or at least that's what I'm thinking. All right, so here comes that pullback now. Oh, maybe spoke too soon. Okay, here come the sellers again. Really, really a tight little trading range, isn't it? Gold prices are putting in a bit of a rally now. We did get I'm still watching the NASDAQ and crude oil here, but we got a nice little hard edge bounce on gold. Nice little continuation signal. Oh, here I'm snoozing. We got another signal here on the Eagle. So if you didn't get in before, here's a chance to get in now. Again, you got to run a really, really big stop here. I've got enough going on. I'll just leave it as is for now. We are getting a first micro-macro cross on the hawk right there. Hasn't been engaged yet, so looking for the market to take out this current low at around 44.11.5. There they go. Looks like they're going to try to press down to 4,400. That's my guesstimate. Let's see what we're doing on the support and resistance suite. Yeah, 44.06.5. And after that, 43.98. Although I would consider 4,400 close enough. Okay, not liking the response we're getting right now. We should have seen a little better follow through on that. Okay, I'm going to take this trade to break even. So, time to roll the stop on that one. Sellers getting a lot stronger. So I think I'm going to start to cover my trade a little bit more aggressively. And same thing here with the Raptor. Yeah, the buyers really digging in hard, trying to support this market. And if they break that 44.20 area again, we'll probably see a little bit of a rally. That's why I placed my stops at 44.21. And I've got my fingers crossed that that's not going to be too quick on the stop. All right, so they tapped me. I guess now we'll see whether I was a little bit too aggressive with that stop or not. If the market's going to turn bullish or if that was just a false breakout higher. We might be seeing a lot of whippy trading today. One, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're getting a first micro-macro cross higher now. It's going to be a leap of faith to assume that the buyers have taken control of the market. We kind of seeing something resembling a double bottom here. Oops, I'm explaining all this and the market's starting to run away. This is probably what your trade should look like. You know, for a couple of ticks, you can take it above this high. And what I'll do is we'll try to run this one out too. Because it's a single, let's see, are we getting a comparable Raptor signal? Oh, we're right into the hard edge. Oh, we did just get a buy signal here on the Falcon, our trend change signal, and we can use a second push entry on this one. All the second push entry means is that we allow the signal to engage, and then we look for that little bit of a reaction. We look for the market to react the sellers are trying to push the market down. Now, because this is a single and the market does seem to be ranging quite a bit, I'll leave it up to you whether you want to take profit on target or whether you want to try to run it out. I hope I'm not getting a little too cute with the market today. Because what I was looking at here earlier was what would have happened if I had just taken my profit on target. Well, obviously I should have had that first micro-macro cross. Nope, sorry, that was just pre-market, about 5 minutes before the open. But we had the macro pullback / 4 arrow consolidation, so there was one profitable trade. And this is obviously another profitable trade. So rather than be at break even, I would at the very least, even trading single contracts, be up $100 already. And, well, I could be up $75 if I took my profit here. So the NASDAQ looking like it's going to try to run back to the highs of the morning. All that early selling and a nice little rally off that first micro-macro cross signal. So now we're seeing some selling as we get back near the highs of the morning. So you can see the highs of the morning, 44.31.5. So looks like we may get a cloud crossover signal here. Jim says the advanced decline number is still very skewed. We've got 2480 on the buy and 330 on the sell. So at least at the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, we've got a lot more buyers than sellers. So what I'm doing now is I'm watching the Raptor here for that cloud crossover. So with this much strength to the upside, I think we can anticipate one more rally on the part of the buyers. Jim's watching the bank index and the Russell. He says the bank at a double top, but the Russell looking very strong. Well, it might be that we're just going to end up in a sideways range here today. Come on, bulls. All right, we're getting a warning dot and another warning dot. So we're going to get ready here on the Raptor. And it's the kind of day where I think a single contract is in order. Come on. Well, we got the warning dot, but now our signal has kind of evaporated. Still working that cloud crossover. I thought we were going to see something come of that, but not yet. Getting a macro pullback here in the hawk. This may drift a little further and also turn into a 4-arrow consolidation. Oh, you stinkers. Where's my signal? No! Don't run away without giving me a signal. That's not nice. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Here they come. They're drifting back toward, probably going to try to tap the hard edge here. Yeah, you could be right, Jim. Jim says, my gut's telling me not to trade today. It's hard to get a handle on who's controlling the market. You know, sometimes it's a little bit more obvious. Out of the gate, all that selling, it seemed like the bears were just going to send this market right back down to 4,400. And now the buyers taking back all those early gains, or almost taking back all those early gains. Like I said, maybe the best that the bears can do today in the face of this strong rally is force the market into a trading range. So far, no signal of the Raptor, and so far we're still contending with this 44.30 resistance. Price is obviously reluctant to get above there. If we can see a break above 44.30, we'll probably see one more push higher here. Let's see if they got what it takes. They don't like that they're struggling so long here. We also have a 4-arrow consolidation now here on the Hawk. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our 4th signal. Actually printing a 5th signal now. We should anticipate the market's going to try to rally. Come on, rally. Okay, I'm going to take my Hawk trade to break even. Again, you know, there's a considerable amount of profit on the table here. Yours for the taking. Like I said, I might be a little overly cute with the market today, and they may make me regret that. All right, somebody take out that 44.30 area. All right, here's our Raptor signal finally. And look at where it's printing, 44.29 half. So the Raptor thinking the same thing I'm thinking, somebody's got to hit 44.30. Shoot. Okay. All right, buyers, you owe me one more push. So we got tagged here on the break even on the Eagle. Oh, sorry, Eagle. On the Hawk, now we're generating a red bar buy signal. Oh, no longer a red bar buy signal. Jim says the DAX is losing it. Yeah, well, we're working a possible trend change signal here on the Falcon. As you can see, our trend line has changed color. We've got the down portion. Here's the up portion. If we come back with a down portion, my trade's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. I could go back to this 44.20 line. I'm going to hold just for the moment. And let's get back to the Raptor because we may be producing another cloud crossover signal. No, not liking that at all. Yeah, and now we're producing a sell signal here on the Falcon. So it's very conflicted. We may get a sell signal here. The market may fall, hit the profit target, and then reverse. Tony says, even soybeans are uncharacteristically whippy. Didn't know that beans cared about the Brits. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely, it's an odd day today. Tomorrow is going to be hopefully a little bit more predictable. So I took a chance here that the buyers were actually serious about rallying the market. And if we can just see them break that 44.30 area, there'd be a little bit of hope for my trade. Once again, on the hawk, if I had just taken the signals and gotten out with profit, even on single contracts, I'd at least have 150 to show for it. Let's see if we're going to get a signal here on the Raptor. We've got the cloud crossover. We've retreated into the cloud. Let's see if we come out. There's the buy signal. All right, I got all my eggs in the bull's basket. Let's see if they come through. A break of 44.30, you know there's a lot of exit orders here at 44.30, 44.31, 44.32, which would be the high of the morning. Come on. You guys owe me one more move. Okay, Tony's asking about the day ranger here. He says, Eric, when you have a minute on the NASDAQ day ranger, you have 4 lines of red text. I only have 1 line. I don't see how to adjust it or what it means. Okay, well, first off, what does the day ranger mean? The day ranger gives you the average daily ranges. So you get an idea whether the market is expanding or contracting. And right now our 30-day average around 174 ticks, the 10-day average 181, the 5-day average 162, yesterday's range 172, today's range 182. So the reason 182 is white and the rest are in red is that 182 has exceeded the 30-day, 10-day, 5-day, and yesterday's ranges. So already today we've out-traded the average of the last 30 days. Why is that important? Well, markets do tend to trade a certain number of ticks every day. Crude oil, for instance, has a tendency to trade about 1,000 ticks, anywhere from 800 to 1,000 ticks. So knowing that, if you've seen the market already move 1,000 ticks, how much likely is it to go beyond that? Well, probably not that likely. You can also, I've addressed this before, you can also use these numbers to help gauge profit targets and stop losses. So if you looked at this and you said, okay, we got about 174, 180, and 160, what's the average of that? It looks like about 170. And so if you wanted to use it as a profit objective, let's say you wanted to take, pardon me, 25% of the daily range, so that would be of 170 ticks, that would be just over 40 ticks, 42 ticks. So that would be your profit objective on the day. Likewise, if you want to use it to see how volatile the market is, for your stop losses, you could say, okay, we're averaging maybe around 170 ticks. Maybe I'll offer up 10% of that as a stop loss. So you would have a 17 tick stop loss. Okay, so now Tony says, how come I only have 1 line and you have all these lines? Well, you see here how the last parameter is a 30-day average. I bet you dollars to donuts, if you go to your data series, you probably don't have 30 days loaded. You'll need to have at least 31 days in there. And then you should get all the averages. You may only have 5 days loaded or whatever the default is. So check that out. Check out your data series. Okay, here's a first micro macro cross. So looking for the bulls to break the highs. Again, for a couple of ticks, you could offer up those extra ticks, take it above the high. You might be able to cover here. I would cover below that 44.20 line. We have hit our high probability target here on the Falcon. That was just shy of the resistance line. So again, if I were smart and taking profit, then I would already have profit here. So that would be good for $100. I would have my profitable trades in the Hawk. What did I say that was? 3 signals, so 150. I'd be up to at least 250. So here we are contending with the highs of the morning. Thought we'd get a better breakout there, obviously. Lots of sellers. Come on. There you go. Come on. Get going. Here, we'll give you a little nudge. Oh, wrong way. Other way. Wow, what a crazy bar. This one right here is trying to go up. It fails. It comes back down. Tries to fail. There's just no follow through. Okay, crude oil taking a little bit of a nosedive. As is the NASDAQ, and I think it's time to get these stops in here. Oops. Not liking the trend line waffling back and forth like that. Not what I want to see. And the more I watch this, the more I'm thinking trading range. Okay, our first micro macro cross signal seems to have evaporated. And we've retreated to a red bar buy. Of course, you can set up the red bar buy to buy or sell, but we got a lot of yellow bars. Whew. The buyer's trying very hard to rally this market again. But it doesn't look like they're going to be successful. Yeah. Seems like the day you should be taking profit. You get the profit, take the profit. All right, well, I'm going to point it out to you. We've got the first micro-macro cross lower here. Look at where it's forming though. This whole 44.21, 44.20 area. So I probably would not take it on the hash mark for the sake of a couple of 3 ticks. I would enter below the low, cover above the high. Just no follow through today. Well, early follow through. Are we sitting on a resistance line? Yes, we are. So nice little rally to the resistance line. Breaking the primary resistance now. So next stop looks like it's going to be 44.15. Oh my gosh. Now they're rolling into yellow bars. Oh man. They're brutal today. So you can see all this choppiness. It's starting to look more and more like this is going to be our trading range. And of course, if it is a trading range, the best strategy is to let it break out, retest, and then show you that it's going to honor the breakout, and likewise to the upside. That kind of thing. As a rule of thumb, you don't want to sell near the bottom end of a trading range. But I can't believe how balanced this market is at this point. Come on, give me one more bar lower. All right, we're going to use those stops right there. I'm afraid if they rally above 44.26, we're going to make a run here at the high again. And if they head a little bit lower, well, it's time for me to start rolling my stops anyhow. Yeah, good question, Tony. I was wondering the same thing. Tony asks, does the eagle look like a protracted bear flag to you? That's exactly the danger. That's precisely the pickle that I'm in. Is this market changing direction and going to try to continue the rally that started here in the overnight? Or is this current trading nothing more than a bear flag and we're going to resume the downtrend? That's why trading has been so difficult this morning. And again, why I should have just gone all in, all out. I would have had, 3 profitable trades instead of a couple break-evens and a couple losers. Now, fortunately, I'm just throwing singles on, so the losses are still relatively light. But yeah, this is exactly why trading has been so difficult this morning. If we see the NASDAQ drift a little bit lower here, perhaps give us a nice solid retest of this 44.10 area and then react higher, then we can be fairly certain that the buyers have control. But you're absolutely correct. Nice call on that. And that's why, I'm having these fits. And now had I stayed with the original stops, of course, I would not have been stopped out yet. I'd still be sweating this trade, and perhaps that was an error on my part as well, getting a little too quick with my stops. But I'll be the first to admit that that is a weakness of mine. I do have a tendency to tweak myself out of a perfectly good trade sometimes. Might be a good plan, Jim. Jim says, 0 for 4 today, no winners. I'm done today. There are going to be days like this where, unfortunately, they don't happen very often. But where you think the market's going to give you some follow through, it just doesn't. Grist for the mill, as they say. That's exactly how I feel. A lot of volume coming through on this current bar. Here you can see on the Falcon we're getting quite wide. If we can see it close a few bars or a bar or two lower here, I can get more aggressive on my hawk trade. Close at least one bar lower, then that will confirm rolling my stop. All right, so that confirms that it's a good time to roll my stop in. Now we'll see whether the bears have what it takes. Boy. Oops, wrong button. I might be able to use my parabolic stops if the market turns over here. No love today. well, we may be getting that test of the low that I was talking about. It's hard to say whether this is going to be it right now. We did kind of break this little swing low by a tick or two. 44.20 still very influential. All this sideways action not giving us anything really to consider. Yeah, darn it. Sure, let's rally back to the high of the morning. Oh, brother. Well, it's almost time to call it a day anyhow. If you're going to be trading the rest of this session, I think the key is to get outside of this trading range. If we generate a signal near the top end of the range, I will try it. We'll see whether we get, pardon me, excuse me. Doggone it, had a little frog in my throat there. If we generate a signal near the top here, let's see if we're going to get something on the other tools. No, of course not. Let's just watch them bolt now. Here on the Eagle, we actually got a trend change signal. The band technically bullish now. This bar right here effectively becoming the signal bar. It hasn't run too far away that we can't take it above the high. Can I cover below the low? No. Nope, it's not going to let me. So what I was going to get at is we need to see a breakout of the high, obviously. This 44.31 area, 44.20. The market definitely pinched between there. If we can get above there and get a little bit of a retest of the breakout, then it'll be safe to buy. Right now, it does look like a bull market, however. If I had to choose, I would say the buyers probably in a little bit more control than the sellers. Of course, if they keep failing at this 44, 31, 32 area, then the sellers are going to squash them. All right, why don't we close up the room for today? I don't think we're going to miss out on anything, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Be careful. We'll talk to you later. Bye for now.